What's going on, everyone? Today I decided to go down a bit of a different avenue with a commentary topic that I guess is just more about me and not so much about current events or gaming news or anything like that. So I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube recently of old interviews with Marilyn Manson, and it reminded me back of when I was goth. Now, most of you are probably unaware of this, but yes, I was goth throughout most of my teenage years and into my early and mid 20s, I would say. But I grew out of it. And so in this video, I'm going to try to explain first off why I dressed the way I did, and secondly, why I ended up eventually phasing it out. So it all goes back, way back to 1996. And I know some of you are probably too young to even know 1996 even existed, but it did, and I was there. Because I'm old, and yeah, shut up. But I was around the age of 12 years old at that time, and I had just discovered Marilyn Manson. His song Sweet Dreams, which is a cover, was being played on the radio and on TV, and I really liked the song, so I quickly became a fan. And at that time, you know, he was in the news with headlines, you know, that said things like, you know, shocking and devil worship and all that stuff. But when I looked at him, I was just fascinated. Like, I just was really appealing to me. So anyways, in 6th grade for Halloween, I actually had 2 costumes. So at my school, we had a Halloween party, and at that, I went as Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. But for trick-or-treating at night, I went as Marilyn Manson. And I wish I had pictures to show you guys, but those were before the days of digital cameras and smartphones and all that. So if there are any pics of me in those costumes, they're probably buried in a dusty box deep in the back of my parents' garage somewhere. But anyways, I did my makeup, and I had this long black-haired wig, and I'd ripped up stockings and a ripped up dress, and I painted my fingernails black and red, and honestly, I can remember that I felt like I looked like such a fucking badass. I really did. I love that costume. It's one of my favorite Halloween costumes that I've ever put together. Now, it wasn't like bam, now I'm goth, you know? It didn't really happen like that, but from that point on, I continued to paint my nails every so often, and my wardrobe, you know, eventually got darker and darker. And by the time I hit high school, I was pretty much wearing all black all the time. You know, but it wasn't like a personal rule or anything like that. I never considered myself goth at that point. I still wore other colors. It was just rare. Probably close towards the end of maybe grade 10, I started pretty much strictly wearing black. And, you know, I was starting to dabble into piercings. I got my eyebrow and my labret pierced. And like a lot of other stereotypical goth kids, I started hanging out at the mall with other similar styled kids, and we wore eyeliner and we were painting our nails black and all that stuff. So this whole thing kind of just snowballed, and you know, before I knew it, I had this rebellious haircut. It was dyed different colors. I was wearing spiked collars, eyeliner, lipstick. I had multiple facial piercings. I had the giant boots with the buckles, you know, the whole shebang. And you know, I started going out to goth clubs even, and I was listening to music that more or less suited the image I was going for. And you know, this all lasted until I was about 25 or 26, and I don't know what it was, but something inside me just eventually said, you know, fuck this. This shit is way too uncomfortable, and you know, it's way too much of a hassle, and why am I putting myself through all of this just to look a certain way? I mean, like, for example, these boots I was wearing were heavy, they were a pain to walk in, and they took 5 times longer than a pair of shoes to put on and take off. And in the morning, I'd be hogging the bathroom to do my makeup before I left the house every day. And, you know, in the hot summer heat, I'd be decked out in black with spiked leather collar around my neck. And it was just really uncomfortable. And halfway through the day, I'd be a mess from sweating. And, you know, I'd be uncomfortable and icky. And it was just quite literally a pain in the ass to maintain that appearance, at least for me. So one day, I was just like, fuck it. I'd be much happier if I was just comfortable. So I threw out all my makeup, I shaved off all my hair, I got a normal pair of shoes, and I just sort of phased out the whole goth thing completely. Now, I don't think the whole thing was a phase, and I know some would disagree with me because it's not like I grew out of that lifestyle because I'm not into it anymore. I'm still totally into it. I still like that style, you know. I just can't be bothered with the hassle that comes with the territory. And it was just too much for me. You know, I did it for about 10 years, And I was just finally like, you know what, that's enough. I felt like I looked like a badass. You know, I liked my appearance, I liked the way I looked, but it was just completely uncomfortable for me physically. Another reason I was uncomfortable was the attention I was getting. Stares, questions from strangers, all that sort of stuff, it comes with the territory. And as someone with social anxiety, it was just very strenuous on me to go to a public place and have people stare and whisper about me. You know, and I know a lot of people think that goths dress the way they do because they want attention, but I can undoubtedly say that my choices in life were definitely not for attention. I did those things because I liked them, they fascinated me, they appealed to me, and I could literally not give any less fucks about whether or not other people approved or not. But being the center of attention when I was in public was always sort of nerve-wracking. So, you know, I mean, even my family viewed me differently. And I always felt like I was not being accepted because I looked differently. And to be frank, I was probably right. And most quote-unquote normal people probably wouldn't want to accept me in society. And that is something that, you know, someone with social anxiety has to deal with regularly. You know, even when they're dressed quote-unquote normally. So, you know, I always felt awkward in public, and my entire gothic image just completely fueled my anxiety because it just attracted a whole bunch of unwanted new attention towards me that I already didn't want. I always just felt like, you know, why can't I do what I want to do and dress how I want to dress without being judged by everyone else? You know, why do I have to be associated with church burnings and Satanism and school shootings because of how I'm dressed? You know, why can't I just be recognized for what I really am? Which, basically, I was a nice guy who liked to be goth, and that was it. That's all I ever was. You know, I never caused any trouble. I didn't partake in any, you know, things like bloodlettings or any fucked up kinds of witchcraft or voodoo shit. I was a friendly, easygoing, pretty shy goth dude, and that's it. And I gotta say, it was fun while it lasted, and, you know, looking back, I have no regrets. But yeah, I guess I don't really have much more to say about it. That's gonna be it, I guess, for this video. So I hope you like this commentary. It's a little different. I know it's a little niche, I guess. Not many people are probably gonna watch this one, but whatever. I wanted to talk about it, so here we go. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave those below. I will answer as many as I can. Probably all of them, because there's probably only gonna be a few. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm Vile Self. Later, villains.